Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. The Witchy Goth here, hope you're doing well. Today's video, why is it all men? Now I get, flack for this quite a lot from men, obviously, who watch the channel and say, well, it's not all men, I'm not like that. And I just want to say that generally the men that come on with those comments are those men. So let's have a look at what this says and I'll discuss each one with you. All men are given privileges by the patriarchy, whether they use them or not, that are assigned to their gender at the expense of non-men. Think about that for a little while. What privileges are men given? They get paid more. They are told from being children that they are better than women, that women are property, that women are to be there as a slave. All men are conditioned to normalize both misogyny and toxic masculinity. I saw some brilliant footage earlier on today of a man really losing his temper with a woman and basically twisting it around to make it her fault. So gaslighting and doing what we call DARVO in narcissistic personality disorder. So basically denying this act that he had done, attacking her, making it her fault, and reversing what he'd done and making her into the offender. So I cheated on you because you wouldn't have intercourse with me. Apparently this gives men the right to cheat on women. And then I see that men will quote, yes, but women are the ones that initiate divorce. Why? Because the man cheated, because he wasn't getting intercourse. Now, I watched a film last night, a very, very good film called Brimstone. Excuse me. It is on Prime. If you get a chance to watch it, watch it. Dakota Fanning is in it, and Guy Pearce, and Jon Snow, Kit Harington. You'll notice some other famous actors and actresses in there as well. It's set in as a Western, but it's not really a Western, and it highlights the patriarchal thoughts that men have, and it specifically highlights around religion and that women are property and to be treated as slaves, and that women, young women who have just begun menstruating, are now ripe and ready to become wives. It also highlights, father-daughter relations. And it highlights what so many women have had to go through in history and currently. There are many women who are on OF who are earning money. And yet men will say, but why do we have to pay for that? Because she has bills to pay. That kind of work is the oldest profession in the world. Why? Because men will always want it, cannot control themselves, and will pay for it. A woman needs to earn a living. And so, if she can't find any other work, what is she going to do to feed her children? All men are protected by patriarchy. And it should they impart misogyny. So if they are misogynistic, if they perform an act of misogyny, they're protected by the patriarchy. And we see this in governments. We've seen it in Prime Minister's questions, for example. In fact, Keir Starmer himself did something like this a few weeks ago. And I was quite shocked that he insinuated that a female minister was not as good as a male minister. And we see it all the time from the likes of the far right, that women are not as good as men in political positions of power. And they do believe that they are better than women, that they should be treated better than women. And that toxicity is just accepted. It's just accepted. Why? All men also benefit from the prevalence of toxic masculinity because it means that any man can just do the bare minimum. For example, not assault a woman, to be considered a nice guy. Now, I see a lot of videos where men will approach a woman in a bar, for example, and begin talking to them, and the women are like, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And the man then becomes aggressive and starts, he's been very nice to the woman beforehand. Hi, I'm so-and-so, would you like me to buy you a drink? She's, no, thank you, I'm with my friend, or I'm waiting for my friend. Oh, you're such a biatch, you this, you're that, you're the next thing. Whoa, this guy came over to hit on this woman, and then he flips because she didn't reciprocate. He expects her to reciprocate. And that was another thing that was apparent in this film that I watched last night, Brimstone, where one of the patrons or patrons of the bar, the cat house, expected the workers in the cat house to just, have his way with them. One of the patrons wanted to kiss this woman, and many who work in that industry, many women who work in that industry do not want that contact because it makes it more intimate and it's to be kept apart. But he forced himself to do that. And then she was the one who tried to retaliate against it, and she was the one who was punished because she wouldn't let him kiss her. Again, this toxic masculinity, protecting men, not protecting women. So, I'm a nice guy. I could grape you if I wanted to, or I could physically assault you if I wanted to. We know. That's why we fear you. We know that you can do this to us. This is why we fear you and why we don't want to be with a man. Because most men who are all men could easily hurt us. All men can use the privileges given to them by patriarchy to actively fight against misogyny and toxic masculinity. They can, but they don't. Many men don't. I have spoken to many men online who have said, oh, they wouldn't do that. Fair enough. That's great. But what about your friend? Oh, no, my friends don't do things like that. How do you know? How do you know that your friend doesn't do that to his wife or girlfriend in private? How do you know that? There was another interesting video that I saw online where two male friends, and he was with a girlfriend. The male friend was visiting, and he left, it was time for him to go, and he left. And as he was leaving, he heard his friend start to physically abuse his girlfriend. So he went back into the apartment and he helped her leave. Now that is something that all men can do to stop toxicity. And he said, I didn't know he was like that. I'd never seen this before. And most of the time, this is not on view. But when you're in a pub and you're talking to your mates and you've had a few too many, and you say things like, oh, I'd give her one, or, oh, look at how she's dressed, she's asking for it. That is toxic masculinity and has been bred into you through the patriarchy. It is time for the men who are on our side, who are our allies, to stop that behaviour from happening. Ladies, let me know what you've experienced. Gents, let me know if you've helped women out of those situations. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you next time. Blessed be.